What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Disney podcast. That's right, we are back, and we are coming to you on the very last day of the 17th month of the 50th anniversary celebration at Walt Disney World. That's right. It is finally over. There was a lot of numbers in that.
Oh gosh, I was like, where are we going with this?
I can't believe I got through that. But welcome back to another Disney podcast. I am here with the fabulous Dave Daniels and Mr. RobFuz. What is up, fellas?
Welcome.
I think it's the fabulous RobFuz and the Dave Daniels. I think that's more of like how it goes. Hey team.
So. Hey team.
Thanks for. We're recording this a little bit later because we have a surprise in store. So I'm excited. But we're gonna talk a little news, basically because 3 monster stories kind of dropped. Well, more than that, but we're just gonna cover the big percentages off stories kind of dropped today. So yeah, let's discuss that. And then we will bring in we're going to bring them in now. Let's just do it.
No, let's bring them in.
I'm going to have Brandon introduce them. Here we go. 3, 2, Brandon.
And I guess I'm introducing them, but these are some of our favorite guests. They haven't been on the podcast in quite some time, but I am super happy that they are joining us again this evening. I had the fantastic pleasure of actually meeting these wonderful people in real life a couple weeks ago. So let's welcome in Disney Assemble.
I think I'm really blurry. I don't know how to fix it.
What's up, guys?
We're back. High five.
We're back.
No,
High
I don't know
five.
what Dave is doing. Dave is blurry.
I know. I don't know what's happening.
Dave is really blurry.
I'm really sleepy. Do you think that's what caused it? I'll just remove myself and you guys talk amongst yourselves. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
What is up, guys?
Hey.
Yay, we're back.
Yay, we're back.
I missed this show. I love this show.
We missed having you guys.
We
on the
listen
show.
every week, but
We do
listen.
every Friday.
Nice.
I don't know. All the days blend together.
Do you guys still listen on the way to school?
Yep.
Nice.
Every day.
Yes, we do.
I don't drive still, so
Okay.
we get to
That's
listen
okay.
together.
You don't have to drive.
Yes,
You
she
don't have to
does.
drive.
She needs to start driving soon.
I'm getting there. May.
May. All right, it's coming. Couple months.
Yeah. Anyway, that was not relevant.
That was
Hi.
not
It's great to be back. Thanks for having us again.
No problem.
Thanks for
at all.
coming, guys.
Yeah.
And this is the first time you guys are meeting Mr. RobFuz, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is a pleasure and an honor.
Nice.
Terrified. I just got jump scared by Dave.
Dave just jump scared us. Welcome back, Mr. Daniels.
I feel like a little clearer.
You are a
Yeah,
little,
like
Minus is
decently.
clear.
you are a little more clear.
I missed. Did you guys tell? Like, I'll be the one editing this, so whatever you said about me, I'll hear anyway. So
No, we didn't say anything bad.
No.
We said nothing bad.
okay, how did this random happenstance in Florida kind of come about? I need to know the story.
I think randomly, like I got a message on Instagram, I think from Troy, and he was like, "Hey, we're not telling anybody, but we're taking a spring break trip to Walt Disney World. We'd love to get."
Oh, he's gone.
I'm back. Hey, I go in and out. So if I disappear, talk amongst yourselves. So yeah, he sent me a message and he told me when he was coming. So we messaged back and forth, and we made our schedules work. Anytime anybody comes to Walt Disney World, I always say, don't plan your vacation around me. Tell me where you're going to be, and I'll do my best to meet you somewhere. So the schedule seemed to work out. I went over to Epcot, met the family while they were in line for Ratatouille. And then Troy and I scampered off and had a beverage over at the Rose and Crown and met one of my really good friends in the paranormal community. He happened to be there. So we had a great conversation with him for an hour or so. And it was a great time.
It was. Yeah, it was a great time. So yeah, we don't really advertise and publicize when we go to the parks, mostly because the other 2 members of the family aren't involved in the podcast.
Well, also, like, if all 4 of us are leaving the house,
right, it's
not always safe to be like, hey, we're going to be gone.
Right, the house will be
Don't
empty
find
for the
our
next 7
address.
days. So
Yeah.
anyone looking for some free stuff, right? So, because I mean, you can find out where anybody lives now.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
IP address like nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
So we sent a few. I sent a few messages to people that I knew were in Orlando or close by that we've connected with through the Disney Assembled, and just asking. I mean, it was like Brandon said, it was, hey, we're going to be there during this time to this time. If you happen to be free and run into us, if you're going to be around, that'd be great. And so yeah, that's how it really just came to be for the most part. And I'll tell you, Brandon, when I left Rose and Crown and headed back to Remy's, they had not gotten on the ride yet.
No.
Oh gosh.
We did brave that line,
but I did a thing. That the rest of my family doesn't seem to mind, but it bothers me significantly. And that is, I literally walked all the way, and I did the excuse me, and they were
my family's up there
in the front of the line.
Oh yeah, no, we were getting our goggles.
And I went
we were getting our glasses.
And I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Let me clarify. That is not actually what he did. He said, I'm not doing that. And I said, Mom, stay here. I'm going to go get him. And I went back through the queue, got him, and brought him all the way back. I did the excuse me twice.
Nice.
I also got to warn the people who were in the Gusteau's
we're gonna lose listeners because I did a bad thing.
It's okay.
Actually, I went to the lightning lane. Yes, Mimi came back, but I didn't know she was doing that. So I went to the cast member working the lightning lane entrance, and I said, "Listen, I had to step out of line," which is not entirely a lie because I did have to.
Step out of line. Just
my family is up; they've moved on. What's the best way to get? And my wife had taken a picture of where they were in the line. So I said, where is this? And how do I get to it? And she's like, well, just keep going this way and you'll find another cast member and they'll point you in the right direction. And by then I hear this voice that I recognize, Papa, over here. And I'm like,
is that Pinocchio?
Of course, I'm wearing, Disney's. I was trying am I wearing a Disney symbol T-shirt? I'm trying to cover it up. I was like, no, don't look at that.
It was really important to me that Papa got on Remy's. Because we didn't think we were going to do it again because that line is awful.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to brave it twice. And so it was really important to me that he got on it. So I was like, I don't care at this point. I'm so sorry. We're on day 6 of this vacation. I'm past the casualties.
That's right. That's right. You turned into a local. You're fine. You're good.
It was spring break. It was spring break rules.
Okay.
It was spring break rules of decor.
That's right.
Yeah. I also got to warn, but what was helpful, the plus side of this was when we were in the Gusteau's roof scene of the queue, a little girl just peed on the floor. No. And so I got to warn the people in that room that wet spot was not water. It was some little girl's pee.
Nice. Nice.
So they didn't step in it.
You did a service. That's good.
Yeah. So actually, in the long run, this was a positive.
They cancel each other out 100%.
Exactly.
Right.
You can skip the line as long as you warn about puddles of pee.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
There's so many stories in there. There's line cutting, there's family pulling, there's children peeing. This is a great story.
It's Disney World.
Spring break.
And that was 1 hour of the trip.
Yeah, that was only an hour.
I love it. Well, we're glad to have you back. You kind of mentioned it. This is our favorite father-daughter Disney podcast, Disney Assembled. Please check them out on all their socials at Disney Assembled. Listen to their podcast because it's great. They cover, you can kind of hear it in the name. They do you guys are a fan of Marvel, I've heard, maybe potentially. Yeah,
we do. When it's relevant, we'll talk about Marvel. We'll talk about Star Wars.
But I'm really the Marvel one.
Yeah,
You're more into Star Wars.
You go deep. You go deep in Marvel. I'm impressed.
I love Marvel. I want to work for Marvel. So since we've last spoke in creative writing, I still do that. But looking into college, I want to go into film. I want to be a screenwriter, and I want to work for Marvel.
I hear there's an opening in visual effects now over there. So
that's not my department. There's definitely an opening in writing though, because I don't really know what they're doing, but it's bad and it needs to stop. It's time for some new young creatives in the Marvel writing department.
Well, I'm not that highfalutin in the world, but I have been a producer for the past 5 years, and so if you ever have any questions on the lower level, I can definitely Like I've been doing video production for probably almost 20 years, and I'm only 29, which is crazy. So
That is crazy.
Amazing.
Child
but
labor.
yeah, I understand your passion. I know yours is more of the writing side of it, but yeah, it takes everything to, we love to bring your stories to life. So like
it really all comes back to Greta Gerwig's Little Women. I'm gonna go on a tangent here.
Yeah,
she's the best director ever. I love Greta Gerwig. Everything she's done has been phenomenal. She wrote and produced and directed Lady Bird. It was the best movie I've ever seen. Little Women changed my life. She wrote, produced, and directed that. The Barbie movie is going to be so good.
Oh, that does look good.
It's going to win Movie of the Year. Like I'm telling you, right now it's going to win Movie of the Year. And when all of you can laugh at me, mainly you, but it's going to win because like Greta Gerwig has been nominated twice. She's only produced 2 films, and both of them have been nominated for Best Picture.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's about time that she wins, especially with like this absolute baller cast that includes Margot Robbie and Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling. Anyway,
If it had
I
Reynolds,
guess I'm
it'd be even
confused too, by the way.
I love her. I want to be her. Back to Disney.
So good. That was a good tangent. I love it.
That's good.
Okay, let's jump in and get our 3 quick stories out of the way because I love our topic kind of today. So, and I'll just breeze through them and I'll ask a generic question that will probably be a 20-minute conversation. So that's not going to work. Okay, so there were 3 big announcements today in reference to some actual savings at the park. So I think this is just a Dave opinion, but I think this is kind of the first kind of real thing that they've put together. And it's clear that they were waiting for post 50th because I get that they want to, wring that out as well as they can and get every penny that they can get to fall into their pocket.
Yeah, all 17
I get that.
months of it.
Yes, forever.
17 months
But they
of it.
finally have dropped some like resort stays that are fairly decent. 2 of them are up to 30% off and 1 of them is up to 35%. So we'll start with the big one first. So up to 35% off of rooms on property for annual pass holders only. So that's the thing. So that's for this summer. So it's 35. But what if you're not a pass holder? It's kind of like a want, right? No, they are also dropping up to 30% for any guest this summer. And then lastly, which is the one that I really wanted to have a whole show about, but that's okay. I'd rather hang out with Troy and Mimi. And that was Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser 30% annual pass holder discount. I think Troy, you said it earlier when we were off the show, or before we started. That's like what, $1,500 savings? Like that's a pretty decent chunk.
It's not bad.
I'm not saying that it's worth it, but
I think
I
it's
don't
a
know.
soft launch into just lowering the cost altogether. I don't think it's
let's
bringing
hope.
in as much revenue as they expected it to. And like by limiting it for just like a period, they can see how many more people are going to jump on the opportunity given that it costs less. Like supply and demand, and there's literally no demand. So why is there so much supply?
Zero demand. And we've talked about this a lot on the show. Like I feel like the hardcore Star Wars people, like you go once and you've experienced it and you're done. It's not a place you're going to go back to year after year after year, like a lot of these other Disney resort hotels are. So I think like they box themselves in by the experience that they created.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fact that the story doesn't rotate. I learned that there were like 60 different Star Tours storylines. Like why not translate that level of storytelling to the immersive experience? I don't know.
I mean, at least have a handful that you can pick, right? I mean, because if you want repeat visitors, even if you have 3 different storylines, that could get your ultimate Star Wars fan to come back and experience that 3 times. Like that's a big chunk of change. But I
probably thought it was going to be so booked that they didn't have to. So.
Yeah, that's true. My biggest thing, I think the scope of it, I like when Disney bought Star Wars. I think you had a group of Star Wars fans that were really excited, and then I think you had a ginormous group of Star Wars fans that A, didn't care, or B, were not excited and thought Disney were going to ruin it. And some of those probably still feel that way based on the success of some of the films. But I think that they maybe outthought their reach. Like, because I don't know that many Star Wars fans that are also like, oh yeah, Disney, cool. I feel like it definitely has a crossover, but I think it's a much smaller number. And, and you can't blame Disney for trying to like bridge that gap for sure. But I wonder if they just I don't know. It's a good idea. It's smart. It wasn't like a I don't know, 2,000 room hotel, right? It's good that it wasn't like
Yeah.
All Stars size, but I
Well, there's, I mean,
I don't know.
Until, well, I would say when you go on a regular, I've never been on a regular cruise, but I would imagine that different cruises have different itineraries. And so if this Galactic Star Cruiser is supposed to be a virtual star cruise and it's just doing the same show over and over again, I mean, I guess theoretically, as a guest, depending on the choices you make, your little storyline changes. I think that's something, but they're not going to change. They can't change the Star Cruiser overall plot,
right,
until they can change Galaxy's Edge to match it.
True.
Yeah.
When you're not on the cruiser, you're visiting Galaxy's Edge. So for it to make sense, it all has to be in the same sort of world universe.
And I think in that vein, nothing like new that has been a huge blockbuster hit has come out of Star Wars in like 5 years.
Yeah, just really Mandalorian. That's kind of it.
Mandalorian was only popular in the first season, though.
Here's what I know.
Like it was gaining a lot of attention the second season, but like not as much. And the third season, like forget it. Like I have not seen even close to the same amount of like woohoo like for this series than for this season than the other ones.
I would say this, and I saw this online. Somebody does videos, Disney stuff. He did a video where he had a standby wait for Rise of about 5 minutes in the middle of the day. There was like a 5 or 10 minute standby line one day. And it was when Mandalorian came out and walked through the marketplace. And he was not lying. It literally was every single person when word spread that Mandalorian and Grogu were walking through the marketplace. They left everything to go over it because we waited. We were hoping that we didn't he didn't come out that week, or at least if he did, it wasn't during any of the times we were there. But if they're sending up little test balloons, that is a huge test balloon, right? That is a huge deal. And look, Disney's, we're just, what are we? I mean, we don't know anything. They're thinking I guarantee they have any number of contingency and plans set up for depending on the situation financially and the market and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, Brandon, you and I, when we met up on the trip, one of the things that came up was the sit down barbecue place.
Yes.
For Toy Story.
Woody's Lunchbox or whatever.
Yeah, I think you guys talked about it in the show we just listened to, or maybe the one.
No, the Roundup barbecue.
That's it.
And one of the points, 2 points about that didn't. I mean, it's fine. I don't care if they put a sit down barbecue place in Toy Story. It doesn't bother me at all. But there are two things about it that don't speak at all to storytelling. Number one, Andy's not going to have a sit-down restaurant in his backyard, right? I mean, what kid does that? You don't have friends. You come over to your house, we're going to sit down and let's bring out the paper napkins and sit down in my backyard. And no one does that, right? The second thing about that restaurant is they serve alcohol. I mean, I get it. Yeah. I mean, they're going to make money off of it, but Andy's not going to serve alcohol in his backyard.
Andy's a booze hound.
Right. But what we did talk about at Rose and Crown, and Brandon, I don't know if you remember me saying this, to me, the place that they should have put a sit-down restaurant in was Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, and they have all that space for it too.
Because there's a need for a sit-down place there. It will draw crowds away from the attractions. It'll help disperse the crowds a little bit more. Everything they have there is booked all the time.
Yeah. In the original plans, they did have something that they were going to put there, but then they threw it.
And it has a way they can do that in the spots that get rid of the evidence that it is tied to one particular time frame. So where Kylo Ren's Starfighter is, put a restaurant there. That way, if you take the Starfighter out, you don't know what era it is. Just change banners and no one knows what's going on, right?
I mean, to be quite honest, like your average Disney Hollywood Studios goer does not notice or care what the ships are. Like even people who are into Star Wars aren't really looking at it that much.
I care what the ships
are. The people who are caring about it are the same people who are staying at the Star Cruiser and I don't really trust their judgment.
I
So
will go to the Star Cruiser. I'll go to the Star. I'll do the Star Cruiser, but not at the price point.
Yeah.
I would do
that's-
the Star. I would do the Polynesian before I do the Star Cruiser.
Now, what
Yeah,
they
I
ought
really
to
don't have
do-
any interest in the Star Cruiser.
So here is an incentive that Disney should come up with, because we're doing this improv thing, Dave. We took your story.
right. Love it.
We're adding to your story, right?
Perfect.
So what if they want people to do the Star Cruiser and they want people to have good memories of the Star Cruiser? What they need to do is combine a 2-night stay at the Star Cruiser with 3 nights at a moderate resort or whatever, and make a package for people.
Yeah.
So you do 2 nights at the Star Cruiser.
I was thinking the same
immersed
thing.
in
It's
that,
funny you said that.
and then,
Same
but you
exact thing.
combine it with another thing, and they sell you a package instead of just doing the Star Cruiser.
I mean, that's what
This
Disney
year.
cruises do, right? Like you go to the
Yeah.
park for a
Yeah.
couple days
It's a
before, and
great
then they
idea.
take you
I
on the
swear I was
bus.
thinking the same
Yeah.
thing.
The fact of the matter
I mean-
is, 2 days anywhere is not enough time to do anything, especially for the price point that it's at. Like, you're going to tell me that I'm supposed to spend the same amount of money that we could spend on park tickets for 2 days in a hotel? Like, I get it,
Yeah.
it's immersive, but like, how do I explain to 8-year-old Billy who loves Star Wars that I want to, like, assume that I'm rich and I am taking my family of 4 to the Star Cruiser,
And your grandparents and your
No.
parents.
and I'm taking my family of 4 to the Star Cruiser, and I'm like, hey, Billy, so we're going to go to Disney World, but we're not going to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
He doesn't, no one, like that.
Yeah, that's a good
the
point.
The whole concept of the Star Cruiser only makes sense to people who are older.
A family,
And the only thing that I get from it is that it's a money grab.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds
Yeah. Oh,
really
yeah.
harsh, but like, I don't,
100%.
nothing special has come out about it that makes it worth what it's worth. Like, Polynesian, worth every
Yeah.
penny. Like,
And it's a
genuinely,
heavy
that was-
lift, right? Because I mean, it's so cast dependent and it's resource heavy. Like it's it's resource needy, you know. And
Yeah.
so I know that that's a lot of why the price is what it is. But even it's like, I mean, you bring up a good point. I remember when they were like trying to figure out, like, you can't leave, right? And so like if you want to go to Disney Springs, like on your trip, like they had to have this weird. But like it just, none of it, like, I'm not saying it wasn't thought through, but the idea of like, hey, we have like 3 hours until we're going to go to sleep and our story for the day is over. We'd love to go to Disney Springs. Like there's
Right.
no real way to make that and then like, because they don't want you to leave that immersive feel. And so I just think there's I mean, it was a great first attempt. Maybe like hopefully when they do like something like of this feel, like certainly they've learned a lot from it, but
I
They'll
would rather
learn
them-
and they'll build off of it.
Yeah,
And it ultimately, look, when they decided to do that, I'm sure they had all kinds of scenarios built in. And I mean, look, they're not going to close it. So I guess they're just going to have to
They
find
might
ways to
repurpose it,
incentivize
though.
people to go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the idea, and you're like, Rob, you were saying, I think, you know, you do a 5-day trip and 2 of them in the Star Cruiser and in 3 days at like Caribbean Beach or someplace like that where
Right.
there's rooms available, and you put a package together for 2 people or whatever. I mean, I think that would be something they should look into.
You make
I think
another
that's-
Star Wars hotel, and you stay at that Star Wars hotel.
That's
You
right.
can-
You just
go to
bounce
Springs for 3
around from
hours,
Star Wars.
and then
Yeah.
you can go to the immersive.
You don't get a
and then
break
the
from
hotel.
Star
I
Wars.
would jump from Star Wars hotel to Star Wars hotel as long as I could go to Disney Springs in between.
They need to, so that Star Wars hotel, if they really wanted to drive people insane, they should build it like the prison in Andor.
Oh my God! Don't even
So,
go there. Don't
like,
even go
That's what
there.
that's what kind
In
of
your
the
little
hotel
cube,
reminds
and
me
the
of.
floors are
I was
electrified.
so-
You get out. I'm just going to the ice machine.
That's what it looks like
I wanted to go there.
outside.
I was actually distraught after those episodes. Like, I was so upset. I just like, my whole thing with Star Cruiser is like, if it's supposed to be family friendly, like, how do you explain it or sell it to kids? And I just don't. I don't
Yeah.
see.
I
don't
mean,
see
I
it.
guess
would rather
the
them have it done.
adventure, but I don't know.
No, but it's like what you said. Your adventure for the day is done, and you still have 4 hours before, and it's like
Yeah.
5 o'clock. Kid wants to go to Disney World, but you can't take.
Yeah,
the
but you
kid
have
to
no
Disney
idea
World.
what time it is. You're inside that building. There's no sunlight. There. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like a
you're-
casino.
Yeah, it's like a casino.
It's like
I
a
would
casino.
almost
No
rather
Did
clocks.
anyone talk
done.
about that, like how they dealt with their enclosed and everything? I never even heard anyone
No,
have any.
Rob,
Doesn't the
Rob, I
windows
think
look-
that's our point. Like, no one ever talks about it. Like, no one comes
Oh,
out and was
no, Brandon. The first week they did, and then ever since I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah, when they let all the Disney vloggers come
Yeah,
in, it was like they all talked about it, and then since then it's just been literally crickets. Like,
Right. And even then, they didn't even have that much to say. They're like,
yeah,
oh,
you're
it's
right.
cool.
You're right.
It was cool because we went for free.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I'm not opposed to the immersive like hotel experience. Like I honestly see it being really successful if they built like a mock castle and you like stayed in a princess's castle with the princesses, like, and it was like that and less like build your own adventure style. I don't know, but I see little kids being more excited about that than they are about let's go stay at this random Star Wars cruise.
What they ought to do is come out with
it's about, for me, like with kids in Disney, it's about the characters and not about the storytelling. Like with all due respect, like the kids don't care about the storytelling of Star Wars. They care about Luke Skywalker and they care about Chewbacca. And if you don't like incorporate those things into your experience, it's not going to hit for families.
With the layoffs, what they ought to do is an immersive cast member experience where you're brought in as a cast member, you get to live in Disney housing with 4 other strangers for the weekend.
I would last 6 hours.
Like the Disney hostel. There you go.
And you
The
go
Disney
to work,
hostel.
they give you a broom, and now you're a custodial cast member for the weekend. You don't get paid.
That's nice.
Like you have to pay them for the experience, right?
So here's the thing. Here's where explain this to me. You got let's look at Peter Pan. Clearly the ride with the lot, like they need a Peter Pan world, Peter Pan experience, Peter Pan park. Like that line, I never have understood the longevity of that. Anyway, okay, so let's throw some dates
Neverland.
in. So yeah, Neverland. There you go.
Let's do it.
So the 35% off hotel rooms for annual pass holders are most nights July 11th through September 28th. The 30th for everybody, the 30% off for everybody gets a little trickier. So the 30% off is only, well, most nights August 21st to September 14th. So much smaller window for that bigger percentage off. And then up to 25% most nights, July 11th to August 20 and September 15 to September 20. I hate it when they do that because it's these weird block times. And then anyway, so for our Star Cruiser, 30% off for pass holders is, they put it in a video, so I can't, or the page is not loading. Like, why is, there we go. Oh gosh, it's a myriad of dates. April 15, 17, 19, 21. Yeah, it's April, May, June, most dates. And spring and summer. There you go. Because there's literally like 47 dates.
Thank you for your specificity.
It's great. And where do you find that information?
Oh, this was all from our favorite site, Blog Mickey. I'm gonna let you guys chat, and I'll be right back so I can fix this weird audio episode audio issue. I shall return.
Are those weird like dates the same as the blackout dates for annual pass holders, or the blackout dates like more easier to look at?
The blackout dates for pass holders are more like chunk. So you're like the last 2 weeks of December, or like the last 3 weeks of December, the 2 weeks of spring break, 4th of July. They're not. It's not like a day here and there.
Okay, yeah, but
because
it doesn't matter.
Pass holders
after
are dumb.
2 p.m. It doesn't matter after 2 p.m. anymore, though, does it? Like, don't you?
April. What day is that? April 18th. I think that starts.
Around there,
Okay, yeah. So it won't
which is
matter.
fantastic for us. Like, that's great. I can't wait for them to start that.
I'm really not against the reservation system. Like, it makes it easier to plan your trip. Like, I know it's inconvenient to like locals, but
I've never really had a problem getting a reservation for any day I wanted to
there's
go.
always somewhere that's open. Like, if nothing else, you can go to Animal Kingdom. Like, I know nobody wants to go to Animal Kingdom, but like you can.
You can always park hop. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
hey Brandon, was it always a better discount for season pass holders? Like, do they always do that stuff, or is that something new they've been?
No. Usually the season pass holder people were always the lower discount. It was always 35% for everybody else, and then 25% for pass holders. So
they're rewarding you for.
They're definitely. I don't. This CEO, I guess, likes pass holders, so that's good.
Brandon, can I borrow your 35% discount for the potential birthday trip I might be going on?
There's
that's what I want. I want to go for my birthday, for my 18th in September, and we have a long weekend that weekend because of whatever holiday.
I'll just put my name on the room, and then you can stay there. It's fine.
I love these hacks. They're good. If that really works, that's a good hack.
We're all a bunch of hacks.
I mean, I just got to go check in, right? They don't know
That's
that
right.
I'm there after that.
Yeah, that or Disney can just start selling their annual passes again.
Oh,
Yeah, that would help. That would help.
That would help, but I don't want to know how much they're going to be when they
Uh-huh.
come back.
I
$1
think
million.
I smell an 18th birthday gift.
$13.99. Is that what they're going to land at? I think.
$13.99.
Yeah.
I guess that's not so bad.
The last time I renewed was at the end of 2020, and
Yeah, because I know you're not Animal Pass anymore.
Yeah, it was like 1,056 or something like that. So it's
you essentially have to go 10 times.
Yeah,
to get your money back.
No, yeah, that's what we determined. Because it was like it came out to like the equivalent of whatever 8 days in the park.
Yeah, something
but
like
like
that.
with the weird discount it gives for like the more days you go.
Yeah. And if you drive there, like that's enough. Like that's what is it? $40 a day in parking too. Like so, we always get a car when we were going all the time, and I was like, well, I also saved like $200 in parking that trip, $200. So like it starts at a couple of years ago, it paid for like half the price of the pass just in parking. So yeah, okay.
All right. Is your audio back?
I don't know. Who knows? Our topic. So we have reached the end of the 50th. It ends today when this show launches, March 31st. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about it, but we also discovered that all of the parties represented in today's show all went at like uniquely different times. So Brandon and I mean, Brandon lives there, so he's been a bunch, but we did like a concerted effort, and he like stayed on property, and we did a like legit vacation for 4 days and went opening day through the first 4 days of the 50th. And then Rob kind of landed there in the middle-ish of the 18-month experience. And Troy and Mimi literally just got back, a week ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've kind of hit it like you guys and us bookended it, and Rob kind of hit it in the middle. So wanted to talk a little bit about your guys' experience, especially, and like how different it might have been from us day one. Now, like the big thing, it's funny because they gave all the cast members these because they must have had a million of them left over, but we got this on day one as we exited. So it was like this commemorative October 1st, 2021 50th anniversary, the world's most magical celebration. Like, is it a lithograph? I don't know what it's shiny and pretty. And I haven't even, Brandon's like, you haven't framed it yet? No, I'm an idiot.
No.
So like that was really, but when we look back at the first day, that was kind of the biggest thing that separated it. I was kind of like, really? Like, because you know what, now I know it was after Disneyland was shut down after COVID and their day one opening, and I get they all live out there, but it was like all of like the big wigs were on Main Street welcoming people back into the park, and I'm all like, they didn't want to do that for the 50th? And then come to find out, the day before the 50th started, they had a huge event for like media only. Well, okay. And so like that's when they kicked it off. So we were there, and there was nothing like special. Like we were there at rope drop, nothing was fancy. Like it was hard to get into the like virtual queue thing to get all the special 50th anniversary clothing and t-shirts and pass holder shirts that we wanted. But I mean, they had their merch release was staggered, which I think was smart. So like all different types of stuff came out. Like we got some throwback stuff. Like this is a throwback. You can't see it at the bottom. It says opens October 1770, Hall of Presidents, and then has like the flag. But like I don't think I projected it as much. That I was really bummed. It was not like this super magical, holy cow, this is going to be an unreal celebration.
Yeah, I'll never forget. There's a lot of people, like I remember you guys were there, and a lot of people were live streaming, and everyone like was there like, I don't know, 5 a.m. and like 4 a.m. and getting in line, and then they were in Main Street, and then they let everyone up a little bit, and then it was the castle show, and it was like, haha, have a great day, everybody, and like people were looking around like, that's it, like seriously.
100%. I mean, we stayed at Pop, and we got on the bus, or we got in line for the bus at probably 4:30 in the morning. Still dark. There were thousands of people in line for the bus, and we're like, this is going to be awesome. This is like, we're going to get there. We're going to rope drop. There's going to be like an awesome welcome show. Like we got to the front gate and we scan in. I think the most exciting thing that happened is I got like my 50th anniversary annual pass holder card. That
Oh
has, like,
yeah,
the
we got
Mickey
the
on it.
cards. Yeah.
So I was like, that was the first start of the start of the day. So I was like, this is going to be awesome. Like, I already got this. We go scan in and we walk on Main Street.
Hold on, they gave you a new card right there. Like, I didn't know.
Well, they launched them that day.
Yeah, they launched them that day. So somebody had told us, hey, if you go to guest services or whatever, they'll trade your regular annual pass holder for that one. So we went over there, we got that. Then we scanned in the gate, walk on Main Street, and we're like, it's going to be awesome. Like, there's going to be 50th anniversary stuff everywhere. There's going to be like people welcoming you. Like, everybody's going to be like celebrating. It was like Friday at Magic Kingdom. Like, nothing. Like, we just walked in. Like Dave said, the biggest scrum was to like try to log on to the Wi-Fi to get into the virtual queue to buy the t-shirt. Like, that was the biggest hubbub. And then we went and saw the castle show. And like you said, you're like, they did Mickey's friendship fair. Like, what is this? And so, yeah, it was, other than a couple banners hanging on light posts, you would have never known it was the 50th anniversary. So
Yeah,
that was kind of our experience on day one.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, I think, to wrap our trip up in a bow, the biggest thing was it was the launch of a lot of new things, right? So brand new, it was the first time Enchantment played, was that night. And then it was also the first night, even though we weren't there, or did we go to
Harmonious.
a preview show the night before? But Harmonious launched.
You went the day before.
We watched it on remember we watched it on the iPad and we were like,
oh yeah, and
this show is awful.
And then loved it.
And then we loved it.
And then Remy's Ratatouille came out. But so that was nice to expect. So for me, I was excited because it was, as somebody who goes at that time, I was going a lot. I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 times a year. And so it was nice to experience 4 brand new things, right? But there was also the disappointment that it was going to be considerably later down the road that Guardians was going to come out. And now we see like Tron it was originally announced to open with the 50th and it didn't even make it. I mean, it's running soft launches, but it technically doesn't officially open until after the 50th is concluded. So, because I think we'll be there, like the second week or like 3 days after it opens. When does it open? The 5th?
4th? Yeah, but it's
it's
essentially open.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, the virtual queue, your whatever they get to get on Tron for the soft opening, I heard they're gone in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're quick. They're quick.
And the run they announced today that the run hours of that have significantly been reduced for the soft opening. Like, so what it was there is when you guys were there, it is way shorter. Like, it'll only run now for the rest of the soft opening until 6:30.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
and they're being ultra strict about return times on this one. I think we talked about it last show, but if you get in the virtual queue and you're called at 9:30, you have 10:30 until 10:30 to get there. If you don't make it, you don't get on, which is very, very different from a lot of their other virtual queue rides.
I was wondering, someone was just live streaming before we went live, and then they were on People Mover and Tron wasn't open. I'm like, what, really?
It closes early. Yep.
It's crazy.
So I want to circle back to your opening day experience, because I've been thinking a lot about this 50th because it's gotten a lot of grief, right? Unless the first day, I mean, there aren't many things that I think they would have done differently except for the first day, because the only time to have a huge special cut the ribbon streamers and big presentation with celebrities everywhere is only the first day.
Yeah.
And they knew they were going to do it for 17 months. So they have to think about the other 16 months and 30 days that they're going to be doing this. They can't have that big opening every single day.
But it's the day of the anniversary. Do something.
That was the big miss for me, was that. Yeah. The rest of it is what it is. You're right. Put some banners up, sell your merch, have some special food. I mean, I guess if we sat here and listed all the things that came out for the 50th or during the 50th, whether it was intentional or not, it'd be a lot of stuff.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it would be
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think there's
all these little things that you don't notice.
Yeah, I guess you're probably right. It's like the little
have
things.
Evolved, right? And some things took a lot longer to get a following on, I would say. So, for example, like you mentioned about Harmonious. I mean, I love that show.
Harmonious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss it
I
so
love
much.
that show. And I'm sure whatever they bring in for the 100th, because Epcot's going to be the place for where they do all their 100th stuff. I mean, it's going to be fine. But it took people a long. I mean, Harmonious had people never came around their enchantment, I don't think, for the most part.
Yeah.
But Harmonious, I mean, we were there. Like I said, we were there. A lot of people were seeing it first time and were, what happened?
I don't know. Please stop.
Yeah, there you are. A lot of people saw it for the first time and loved it. I mean, they were blown away by this thing. I mean, Magic Band Plus came out during the 50th, and people were still trying to figure that out. And, the little gold statues. And again, none of these things are major deals. But I'm going to tell you something. We were there that week. Mimi and I, we specifically hunted all 50 of those statues and made them talk. That was a big deal for us.
It was really fun.
And it was fun.
That was fun.
I mean, we really enjoyed finding them and waving our arms in front of the thing until it made noise and everything else. So, but it's all those little things. And, I think when it's all said and done, you're right. The big fumble was the opening of it. But the rest of it is 100%. What it is.
Yeah.
My challenge was overall, I'll just be brief about this point, is I know it's Disneyland. I know that was Walt's Park. I get it. But when they had their Diamond Celebration on the 65th, to me, all of us on the East Coast are watching that. And I got done watching that big extravaganza when that launched and immediately was like, oh my gosh, the 50th at Disney World is going to be bonkers, and then I'm immediately like, Brandon, can we do I know you guys live there, but you want to do yeah, let's do it. Let's be there day one, and then to go and experience it. And again, it was nothing wrong, but it's just and they didn't announce anything, but there was just this, when you look at what they've done versus what happened, it's hard not to look back and think you guys had a really big missed opportunity. That's the big walk away that I had. Cause I look at the 65th and I was like, that was incredible. And it lasted about as long as the 50th. Cause they have to, drain every penny out of us for holidays.
So right now in my schooling, I'm learning about issues that come and start at the top. Not as a lesson. I'm just learning that generally, that's just what I'm experiencing right now. And thinking about y'all's first day experience, the lack of excitement poured into it from its announcement, before it had even opened, the lack of things that were announced about it coming out, the lack of merch, leaks, the lack of advertisement, the lack of things that were announced that were going to be special for the 50th, killed it from the beginning. It's problems like this, I think, genuinely start at the top. And if nothing about it was exciting or interesting from day one, from before it even started, what made us think that it was going to improve over the next 18 months? Sure, Remy's opened. Sure, Guardians opened. Sure, people began to fall in love with Harmonious. But that's not enough for me. Yeah. And before I go into, I don't want to just jump to because I have certain things to say about the end of the 50th. I don't want to skip over Rob's middle of the 50th experience. So I'd rather talk about that first before we come back to me.
Yeah.
I think a major blunder was, a year 2 years prior, a year prior, they promised the world. Then we had something called COVID jumped in. So I think that really threw a big wrench in everything. And they were losing a lot of money, unfortunately. So I think that's what really put the screech on things. So just even supply and getting the merchandise and everything. So I went January, and then I went in June, and I still wanted 50th anniversary merch, and it really wasn't there. I went to the section where the anniversary stuff is. They had 500 soap dispensers that make you have the Mickey foam in your hand. I'm like, seriously, that's it? And they were upcharged too. They were like,
oh
like,
gosh,
triple the
I have a
price.
full story about that.
Yeah, I think Dave has a great story about it. So.
Yeah, like so Krista, Brandon's wife, like got them for us. And I still we still have it. We filled it up with soap the other day. Basically, for those of you who don't know, it has the liquid soap in it, and you press it down, and when you press it down in here, it makes the Mickey shaped head as the soap that comes out. So it's really cute, and obviously because it's refillable, it's great. Krista and Brandon got it for me for $9.99. When we were there on the first day, there was a second sticker over all of them, and they were all $20.
That's crazy.
They literally doubled in price from pre-50th launch to the day it launched. Crazy.
That makes me not feel so bad about taking the H2O plus body lotion out of the hotel room.
That's right.
Oh, we do it every
right.
time.
Yeah. So,
yeah, but going in the middle of it though, like sorry to interrupt you, like just really was very underwhelming. You know, like I just wanted to be there at a certain point. I love that Dave and Brandon was on. I had a show that day and they came on. I was like so jealous of you guys and everything. And then I just felt like it just was. I didn't feel bad for you guys. I thought you still had a blast, a great time and everything. Great. But I was just hoping for 1,000 times more, and I was hoping for 1,000 times more. That's pretty sad saying 1,000 times. I was hoping for a lot more, you know, when I went the other times too. And like the saddest part was like I got the best 50th merch at the airport gift shop. I'm like, yeah, seriously, like this is where I'm gonna this is where I landed a lot of my stuff, which is bizarre. So, but you know, it was like you said, guys, like with the statues was really cool. It's like I guess eventually they did bring some stuff out, but it just was, you know, because I went to the 20th anniversary, I went to the 25th anniversary. You know, I've been to a lot of different anniversaries there. What was the Disney 100 years? The other Disney 100 years that you know, Walt was 100 years old. You know, and I've seen what they do, like the parades and the cake castle. I love the cake castle. I know that's a sore subject, but I love that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It just does. I really don't even. I'll be honest. I don't have that much to add to it. Just it is. You know, it was a disappointment.
You know, it's funny that you say that, Rob, because right now, it might have been Adam the Woo. I don't know if anybody follows Adam the Woo. Like he has a pretty big following, but he does a whole lot more than Disney, but he's pretty Disney heavy. And so he was in there last week, and his video was showing, like he said, if you're coming to Disney World right now, it's a really confusing time. He's like, so he showed like the 50th anniversary merch, and then he had 100th anniversary merch, but then they were also having this throwback stuff from the 20th, the 25th, and like the 30th. Like you can get like you can get a birthday cake castle t-shirt right now in like the Emporium. He's like, so if you're coming here now, you probably have no clue like what anniversary are we selling all the are we celebrating all the anniversaries? Awesome. It was I had no idea they were selling that older stuff. That was pretty interesting.
I bought a bunch of items that I had when I was, you know, when I was your age, when I was a kid, you know, like the stickers and the pennants and the license plate and everything. They had a lot of stuff that I bought when I was a kid, which was kind of cool. I bought a bunch of that. I don't know where it is, but it's around here somewhere. But,
well, starting April 1st, all the 50th merch goes into the retro collection.
That's right.
And
that's right.
And it'll be an upcharge because now it's a part of the retro collection.
That's right.
I think like I've planned many a show, and I've been like, I don't want to say a stagehand, but I've been like a producer of shows at my school. And when you advertise them and you make them interesting, no, not even that. When you're literally creating the set list for a show, you got to start it with a bang. You can have some lull, and you have to have something that keeps people interested in the middle. And then you got to end it with something phenomenal. And like, that just seems like common sense to me. And Disney really fell flat on that. And I don't see any reason why. Going like into like the end of the 50th experience for me, I think so. We only watched the Festival of Fantasy. That was not words. The Festival of Fantasy Parade, like officially once on this trip. And it was like on our last day, I think, or the day before our last day. And Mickey and Minnie were in their 50th outfits, whatever. The day before, Mickey and Minnie were in their like Festival of Fantasy outfits. And the day before that, they were in their like classic, like Mickey and Minnie, like red polka dots outfit.
Identity crisis.
And like, which was like fine. But the more I thought about that, and like we ran into the castle show and they weren't in their 50th outfits. And I was like, okay, so this is a very soft sort of like taking away, I guess, of the 50th, but it started on such a minute level. I was like I guarantee you I was the only one in the audience who was like, why aren't they wearing their 50th outfits? But like it was weird to me because the 50th wasn't over, and like banners had sort of started to come down, and like you were saying, like in the Emporium, it was like so confusing. Like the 50th stuff, first of all, upcharged, but it was also like very, with the exception of the Emporium where there's like the 50th section, it was like hard to find 50th merch. Like it was sort of being taken down in more general areas, like out of like ride gift shops and stuff like that. Like it was,
which is funny because they have truckloads of that merch,
tons of it
somewhere that they're all gonna have to sell like at the outlets for like 50% off. So you would think they would. I would have started the sales now, like the last month, and trying to offload as much as I could.
Literally, and like it was just like more generally, I felt like the 50th only mattered in the Magic Kingdom, which I don't think is fair. Like, although Magic Kingdom was the one that opened on October 1st, like it's still, like, Disney World is still like its empire of itself, and it's got 4 parks. And like when you put them in order, like you've got Magic Kingdom at the top, and then you've got I guess I would say Hollywood Studios, just because of how much like
it's hot now,
like it's popular now. And then I would put Epcot, and then I put Animal Kingdom. And like there was nothing in there except for the 4 statues. There was nothing in Animal Kingdom that was 50th related. Nothing. Sure. In Epcot there were statues, but we also went during Flower and Garden, so a lot of the 50th stuff was like taken down early.
That's true.
As a Flower and Garden, so like that makes sense.
I will challenge you on one thing. Well, not challenge you, but I would love to get everyone's perspective. It was really interesting to hear Mimi say that. Like it felt like it was all Magic Kingdom. To me, the Magic Kingdom had the castle redone, but again, that's not new. So literally the only thing that was new at Magic Kingdom was enchantment. Where at Epcot, Remy, Guardians, and the fireworks show. So to me, I'm like, Epcot got the bulk of all of the new stuff. And if they would have been on schedule, right, if COVID wouldn't have happened, the play pavilion would have been there, and Moana's walkthrough adventure, like that would have been
over at Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. Right, exactly.
I didn't even talk about that.
So it's interesting. I mean, you're right. I mean, obviously Magic Kingdom is the most popular park. They want everybody to flock there. That's where the most people go. But I thought Epcot got the most attention as far as new stuff. Now, Tron would have helped with that, but it didn't happen.
Right.
So but it's pretty interesting.
I agree with you, but I feel like the way Disney marketed the new things, like they were not related to part of the 50th celebration. And so in my brain, I don't correlate the opening of Guardians and Remy to the 50th at all. Like, because they're not. Because it was never like, here's this grand celebration of everything that we are, and here's some new things for the future. Like that was not the perspective that was taken.
Yeah, 100%.
And so it's like very, I don't know, like just everything about it was so weird. And the way the 50th was like barely addressed at D23, like also kind of freaked me out.
I was going to bring that up too. Yeah.
You've got 6 months left of this celebration. Like, are you not going to do anything about it? I don't know. Just the whole thing.
They did Disneyland really well, but the Disney World,
I don't know. Like, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the 100th. Like, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the 100th, actually. And I know that like the Harmonious statues are not loved. The Harmonious
barges
with tacos.
Yeah, like they're not loved, but I think they're necessary because that show I think is like incredible, and I would love to see something like that.
I'm in the minority there. I gotta say, like, I personally, Epcot is my second favorite park, and it has gone downhill in the past several years, mostly because of now it's EPCOW, the experimental prototype community of walls, because that's really all that's happening there with all the construction. But I will say this, like the heartbeat of Epcot, I believe is still there. But my biggest concern with, I mean, there are people that genuinely, there are Facebook groups that is all about like, they hate those in the water. And I personally have never walked into Epcot, walked up to the railing and like looked across the water. Like, I don't know. I don't have like, it's all man-made. I don't care. Like, yeah, there's all the stuff over there. Oh, there's the stuff for, I mean, I get it. With the show that was there for 20 plus years, almost 20 years, like they could boat them in and boat them out. Like, so that was a big win, but I almost wish they'd have left them in there because then it wasn't a big deal, because I think that that show should stay. Like,
Yeah, I
especially
think
because
so
they're
too.
bringing back Epcot Forever, and just be thankful.
Be
It is literally like the
The
Aladdin
Walmart.
show.
It's the
It's really
Walmart
weird.
show. It's the
That's
Walmart
really
show. Of
There are
Disney.
things, and this is related to the 50th. Listen, there are things in the archives that they probably had planned to do, including
Yeah.
other things they wanted to do with those barges, because there's no possible way you're going to convince me that they invested the time and the money into that show, which is enormously complicated and expensive, to only run for 17 months.
Yeah.
There's no possible way. They thought they were putting something originally designed to last forever. And of course, their data, their market data, their feedback, they made the decision to go a different direction, which I think they probably made early on. I'd say within the first 6 months, they knew this thing was going to be gone, and there was no way they were going to save it because of the feedback.
Which, first of all, if you're going to get rid of something because of feedback, get rid of Enchantment.
Well, that's what
that show
companies
is
do.
bad.
Oh, it is. Don't worry. It's going away.
But that's what companies do. And so my point is, we won't ever know what didn't happen because of, like Rob said, COVID, supply chain, personnel.
Yep.
And you got to look at this about the company. I mean, my instincts from reading the news, this is still a company very much reacting in reaction mode to the world. They are not the company we remember that was proactive and setting the tone and setting the direction and challenging other people to keep up. COVID has an enormous inflation and all this other stuff. They are reacting. They're laying off people. They're trying to figure out what to do with the show and that show. And what do we do here? And what do we cut here? And how do we keep the magic and not, have it affect this and everything? They're very reactionary, and it's going to be like that for a little while. And one other point, people often say it should be easier to enhance things at Disney World because of the space they have and how difficult it is at Disneyland because of the space constraint. I never thought that. I think if you're running a company that big and an operation that enormous, my personal opinion, it is significantly harder to improve an experience at Walt Disney World, because the diversity of activity and people who go there is so much more than Disneyland. And when you're looking at Disneyland, there is probably a lot more pressure to make sure you are making adjustments that the hardcore Disney people are going to accept, because you're getting a much denser Disney loving population there than at Disney World, where in any given day at Disney World, you've got tens of thousands of people who are just there because their family drugged them there, or they're there at a convention, or they're just there to go to whatever. But they're not the hardcore, or they're visiting from outside the country and they're doing a U.S. trip and they're stopping there as part of the U.S. trip. So because they're trying to enhance the experience for such a wide range of people, it becomes very, very hard to make noticeable enhancements to the people in a very small group. So it's like you're throwing darts, and the dart board at Disneyland, you're standing really close to it. And at Disney World, you're standing across the room and you're still trying to hit the same target. And that's why I think it's very, very difficult. And I mean, they obviously can do more, but that's just how I see it.
Listening to our conversation too, I just think in the end, the bottom line is I don't think they needed the anniversary. They just didn't need it. I don't think they did. Back to parks, they didn't need it, and that's what happened. And you're right. It should have been a finale, a big bang. It was just forgotten long time.
I mean, I think about the 35th and the 40th at Epcot. It was the day of, and that's it. You could get day of merchandise. You could get I was here merchandise. Like, I wonder if I mean, I get that it's the 50th. Like, I mean, I know that's a marquee thing, but like, I wonder how, I don't like, they could have downscaled it more or spent a whole bunch of money like for a day to wow, because the parks were sold out regardless. And then you just keep going like you do with the other parks. But I don't know. It's hard to say about a 50th anniversary of a company. Or a place. So
I think the 50th could have been very successful if Tron had opened when it was supposed to open.
Yeah,
or contrastually, it opened before the 50th ended. Like spring break or not, like I think it should have opened at the end of February.
Yeah,
like
that could have been their bang. They're going out and bang.
that would have been the big fireworks
with the
ending.
Tron
Yep.
opening.
And to me, this is how I know the 50th was a miss for me. I found myself in the last couple months saying, thank God the 50th ends March 31st. Like, how often do you say like something at Disney, like you're thankful that it ends? Like the Halloween parties, like Halloween. I am very thankful Enchantment's ending. But like the Halloween parties, like I love the fireworks of the Halloween parties. I'm bummed when the Halloween parties end. I'm bummed when the Christmas parties end. This is the first time I can remember saying like, yo, this was too long. I'm super glad that this is over. So to me, that's how I know that it was really a miss, is that it's not something that I'm sad to see go.
For sure. I'm like really curious to know if, frankly, there's enough money to develop an entirely new fireworks show for Epcot on top of like,
they've already done it.
No, I understand that. But like the money that it's going to cost to remove Harmonious, bring in Epcot Forever, take out Epcot Forever, and bring in this new show. Like, should they really have, like?
Yeah, was that a good
losing money?
Steward of that money,
like a poor decision. Like, I guess like it's a new attraction, like bring people in, but like, don't you have like 3 new things about to open in Epcot anyway? Like, I don't. And even if you like hone in the 100th anniversary stuff into Epcot, that should be enough to bring people in anyway. I mean, it brought people in for the 50th, and the 50th sucked. Like, I don't know. I'm also just like very much a fan of Keep Harmonious, and I'm mad it's going.
Yeah, I know, me too.
So, like,
that was the best thing that came out of the 50th to me.
It was so good.
You know what they could have done during the 50th that was low-hanging fruit that people just love? Bring more characters walking around the park.
Yep.
Bring some characters in the park you normally don't see. Bring some rare ones periodically, as part of the show. Oh, we're getting to see, characters from Robin Hood or Jungle Book.
50 years of like animation. Yeah.
And but
my favorite part of the 50th was the Spaceship Earth, the way it lit up and they have those shows. That actually was my favorite.
Yeah, the beacons of light. That was the best one for sure.
That was really good.
Yep.
But something like that is so simple. Like, there's no reason to get rid of that after the 50th. Like, that is not,
I think
to me,
stay.
that is not
that's gonna stay.
Specific. Like, I just like, you're right. Like, there were so many like little things they could have done to just like improve the 50th, and even like slapped a cheesy 50th name on it that they like didn't go for. It's just like sad to me that happened.
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom should have renamed the pond in the middle of the park, so to have balance. Because look, nature is about balance. They have the Tree of Life. They should have just renamed it the Pond of Death, because everything that goes there dies.
Oh, Kite Tails! That was a 50th thing that they tried.
Oh, I loved that. I loved that.
We went and saw that during our first, the vacation, and it was actually enjoyable. Like we went to mock. We stayed to rock.
No, like it's such a cute idea. I'm upset that it like totally failed. But, like,
it was pretty bad, but it was cute in its own way.
You're telling me the great minds of Disney Imagineering couldn't find a better way to land their kites? Please.
That was the
like,
show.
These people developed Rise of the Resistance, and they can't figure out how to land their kites.
We were there because we went to the first week that we went. They weren't officially open yet, but they were
like a soft opening.
Yeah, and like the first time we went to the show, like one of the jet skiers fell off, so they just had to it was like 15 minutes in the show. It just ended. There wasn't a plan to they had
like, thank you for joining us for Kite Tails. The next show's at 11 o'clock, and it just stopped.
I remember that.
That was really fun.
That's so good. That is hilarious. Great. That's like a perfect metaphor, I think, for the 50th. Like the guy, he's out there for this new thing, and he just falls off of his jet ski.
He's been training for months before the park opened.
Give it a ball.
And he's ready to go.
Give it a ball, coach. Give it a ball.
Oh, that rogue wave
Someone
just
got
got
fired
him.
that day, for sure.
That's so funny.
Actually, I don't think they can afford to fire anyone. They're so short.
Well, I can't imagine a better way to end than on that kite-tailed story. Troy and Mimi from Disney Assembled, you guys have been awesome. It is so great to reconnect. Please, in your words, where can people find you? What are you guys doing? What's coming up with you guys?
So we are about to talk about our trip on our show. Not for too long because that gets annoying, but that's kind of what's going on with us. We're just going to recap our trip and go into something else that we have unplanned. We don't know.
Nice.
But you guys can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all at Disney Assembled, or our YouTube channel, which is just Disney Assembled. But all of the like extra stuff, like our Patreon and all that, and where to find our episodes is on our website, DisneyAssembled.com.
Love it.
Yeah, check it
Love
out.
it. You guys are the best.
You know what I like best about your website? You show every single way you can get your podcast. I really like
Oh, yeah.
that, by the way.
Oh,
That
well,
was cool.
thank you.
I was
Yeah.
checking them out.
Yeah.
And all our Disney
Rob's a
dad
stalker.
jokes are updated there too. So if you're looking for a Disney dad joke, there's over 100 of them now listed
Nice.
there.
That's crazy.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Mostly
No, the one
ugly.
from this week was so bad.
The one from this week was
No,
not that
it was
bad.
so bad. I don't know if y'all have listened to
I
it.
think
yet,
that's the
but
point of a
it's
dad joke, though.
That's what
No.
dad jokes are supposed to be.
incomprehensible. Like I didn't
The
get
best
it.
ones-
Your reaction was classic, by the way.
Yeah, the ones that she doesn't get are the best ones.
That's
And
right.
it takes her a minute to think about it. She's like,
No, but this one I didn't even get. Like you had to explain it to me.
because
Like
you're
I
not
was
used
so
to looking at a
confused.
clock with actual hands.
You were like hands, and I was like, huh? Like okay.
I usually try a couple of them out
That is-
ahead of time with
That is an
Irene.
enchantment
with
level
Mimi.
joke. That is the same level of joke as the guy who fell off his bed.
Oh
Okay?
no, she just called you enchantment.
That just happened.
that's rough.
I usually try 2 or 3, and she says, "No, don't do that one. Don't do that one."
That
So,
that is a great way to end the show.
yes.
Yep. Well, we'll
Papa
be
got
back.
called enchantment.
There you go. We'll be
No,
back
it was
in.
the
I've
joke.
been called worse.
It was the
Yes.
joke that was enchantment, not Papa. Papa does all of our social media because I don't
Yeah.
have time, and
Right.
he is definitely happily ever after for that.
He's a wizard. We've given Rob that, so ours is drastically improved.
Ours is way better because he does something.
Thank you guys again. We have a we'll be back in a couple weeks, and I don't want to give it away, but we have a massive show in a couple weeks. We have a really I don't want to give it away. Like
I
well,
say
I-
no.
No, don't give it
Don't-
away. Don't give it away.
It's
We'll tell
it's
you
gonna
guys
be a
all.
really
from
cool
mine.
story to like
I'm
listen to.
excited.
Just hear about
Okay.
that. It's been in the news lately, and he's coming on the show, and it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great.
Do you have the Bob Iger coming on your show?
Yes.
No.
Think
Oh,
Okay.
it's Apex.
You figured
Celebrate
it
the
out.
end of the celebrate
figured
the
it
end
out.
of the 50th.
You landed Pedro Pascal. All right.
Yes,
Good job.
yes,
There
yes.
you go.
Please
Gosh.
put me in contact with John
Left
Favreau. Please tell him
Done.
that I will work for slices of bread. if
He's
he
coming
puts
in
me
2
on
weeks.
Marvel.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
He'll be here in 2 weeks.
That's a lie.
That's all.
Everybody's like, "What? It's John Favreau?" No, nope.
Please
No.
let
I don't
me
even know if I can
know
spell his name.
No.
that I will work for Marvel for pieces of bread. if
It's
that's
John
what-
Favreau's barber's neighbor's cousin's uncle who used
Dog.
to walk their dog.
We need to have Brandon's neighbor on. Brandon lives down the street from Joey Fatone. From where is he from? New Kids on the Block. 98
In sync.
Degrees?
In
sync,
sync.
whatever.
That's crazy. I've had to watch a bunch of NSYNC music
Hey,
videos for various classes, and I don't understand why. There are better music videos. Oops.
You
Please
didn't grow
don't
up.
tell-
You didn't grow up in the 80s.
That's
The
right.
90s.
That's right. The best time. Guys,
90s,
thank you
whatever.
guys again. It's been so great to reconnect. Go check out Disney Assembled stuff. It's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
And until next show, bye bye
Until next
50. And
Bye-bye, 50th.
50th.
bicycle.
Peace.